For Good Friday tomorrow, showers end in the morning, then a mix of clouds and sun, the high 45 to 50. Clear and cold Friday night, low near 50. Saturday, partly sunny in the 40s. For Easter Sunday, periods of rain, high near 50. Monday, showers ending in the morning, possibly as a period of wet snow. Highs will be in the 40s. Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny, breezy and cool. High both days in the 40s. Right now, mostly cloudy, 42 degrees at Radio Circle. And a good morning to you, and welcome to Meet the VIPs. Our guest today is Mary Michele.
Oh, Mike, how are you today?
Now, here I am. I am thinking, yesterday I got told, be careful, there's a lunar eclipse and all this good stuff. And today you walk in and say, somebody moved into somebody else's house. And I'm thinking, how kinky.
Mike,
morning.
I love the way you kind of put that together. What we were talking about was Venus. The planet Venus went into the sign of Gemini. So what this means is that the way that we perceive love, the way we give love, the way we work with love has kind of a mercurial flavor. And Mercury, because Mercury rules Gemini, Mercury is the planet of duality, of trickery, of playfulness. One of the great stories I think about Mercury was how he managed to get the cows from the god Apollo. He stole the cows by having them walk, putting little shoes on them so it looked like they were walking backwards. And what he did was he, sacrificed the cows, and he took the guts of the cows and made harps and made music. And of course, this pacified Apollo because music was something that he worshipped. So the thing is that Mercury always is kind of a cloud with a silver lining. He's a little tricky, but he's fun. And I think in the nature of love, when you get, love sort of surrounding this kind of thing, it's something that, some people will have more fun with it and other people will wish that love could be more simple and more direct. Which brings us back a little bit to something I wanted to talk about today, which is numbers.
Can we get to that after we get our first phone call?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lisa is calling. Lisa's date of birth is October 19th, 1954. 10/19/54, and then we're going to get back to that good stuff. Lisa, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Lisa's calling from Yorktown. Good morning to you.
Okay. Good morning, Lisa. Did you have a particular question?
Well, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I called you a couple of weeks ago, and I had some concerns about my marriage, and I also had some questions about my career, and you had told me then that the sky's the limit as far as my career went, and a funny thing happened to me. About a week later, a position became available, and I was promoted.
Oh, how wonderful.
And
I'm chills.
Doing great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and I'm being pushed past limits that I've never experienced before. And I have a good feeling about it. I'm overwhelmed, but it's a good overwhelmed. And I just wanted to know from you, how does that look for me? I mean, I am feeling overwhelmed. I think I'm going to do okay, but how do you perceive all this?
Okay. 10/19/54, right?
Right.
Okay. The sun in Libra, the moon in Leo, which is harmonious right now with what's going on. Is there a lady that works with you?
A number of them.
A number of them. It's a good time for the women that are around you. It's like you're communicating well with them. There's lots of creativity. You're coming up with ideas that they like.
Right.
This is working very well. Venus in Scorpio, Mars in Capricorn, it's a very good time for your energy. Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, and that means that, you are able to structure yourself very well. Time and time again, you know how to integrate yourself into new situations and work out the details. You understand the nature of work. And of course, it's a particularly good time right now because transiting Jupiter is also going over your Mars in Capricorn, all of these planets in Capricorn. So it's helping this your energy and directing and focus and so on. I can only say that I think that it's going to be good. Probably there'll be a little bit of a blip in the summer where, it might not feel that you're, when Jupiter goes retrograde, it won't feel quite as wonderful as it does now, but it will come back again in the fall, and I think that it's just going to get better.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Did you hear what you wanted to hear?
Yes, well, I did.
Oh, okay.
So nice of her
Thank
to
you for the
call
call,
and
Lisa.
tell me.
Now, a couple of things. You were talking about somebody taking the cows, making them into harps, satisfying somebody else, and then you were going to get to another subject. Why don't we do that? We have one open line at 241-1310. We're going to get back to the phones a couple seconds away. But continue with your thought.
Well, it's kind of a long thought. I really wanted to get into the idea of numbers because particularly with the holidays that we're experiencing with, Passover and Easter and Good Friday tomorrow and all that kind of thing, I think numbers are things that are very relevant in most traditions. The Egyptians also used numbers quite importantly. Pythagoras, who was a Greek who followed some of the beliefs of the Egyptians. Anyway, I wanted to get into this theory of numbers, but it's kind of a long talk, Mike, so I think I'll...
All right, we'll forget that then. I'll tell you what, we're going to get to Barbara and to Stephanie just a couple seconds away. We're talking to Mary Michele on Meet the VIPs on this Thursday morning. 12 minutes past the hour. We will be back in exactly 1 minute.
The choice was simple. To live in the quiet rage that is despair, or die in the struggle to alter destiny. Their musical is Les Miserables. They pursued a better world even to the edge of doom and then beyond. Finding it was their victory. Les Miserables is their musical. Les Miserables, the world's most popular musical at the Imperial Theater. Call Telecharge 212-239-6200 for tickets.
Les Miserables celebrating its 10th anniversary year on Broadway. For tickets, call Telecharge 1-212-239-6200. All right, let's get back to the phones with Mary Michele, taking your calls on astrology, numerology, and anything else that seems to pass by here. Barbara is on the phone from Somers. Date of birth is April 20th, 1952. Barbara, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hello there.
Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Oh, not so good.
No?
No, some things aspired over the weekend, and I wanted to know if you can see anything on how things are going to turn out with it.
Okay, you're born right on that day that the sun changes. You're on the 20th of April, 1952?
Yes.
Yeah. It really would be helpful to have your chart done so that we could tell exactly where the sun is, whether it's in the sign of Aries or the sign of Taurus. But in any event, you do have the moon in Pisces. So, maybe there's a last little blip here having to do with relationships to the feminine. So whether it's, within your own femininity or whether it's, with your mother or your daughter or friends, female friends, there's some kind of final little breakthrough that you may have to go through with this feminine. Does this relate to what you're talking about?
Well, not really. It's a purchase that I made over the weekend, and I don't know, it's just bothering me since I bought the product.
What is it you bought?
Well, I would rather not say at this point.
Okay. Well, is it a machine of some sort?
No.
No. Does it have to do with beauty?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the thing with beauty, this relates back to the feminine again.
Okay.
So, it's the idea of not feeling that, anything to do with enhancing the feminine or, understanding the feminine, working with women and how, the nature of the feminine can be slightly irrational. The nature of femininity is not always irrational, but there is this quality because it expresses the emotions, and the emotions don't always make sense. They're not logical. So lots of times when we make purchases that have to do with something related to beauty, and particularly right now, it's a time where you're not going to be sure about, if it's something that you can take back, I would do that. If not, I feel you will feel better about it when Saturn moves on into Pisces, which will be the 7th after Easter.
Oh, it's after Easter then. Yeah, because I tend more towards Taurus, I think, when I read my horoscopes and whatnot.
Right, but you have the moon in Pisces.
Okay.
And the planet Saturn has been going through that for the last 2 years. So anything to do with femininity has been going through a struggle.
Okay.
So it's going to move as of Easter. So I think that then you will have a little bit more freedom concerning, particularly this purchase that you're concerned about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay?
I
Sure.
feel a
Thanks
little
for
better
calling.
knowing it's going to change.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. Let's get to Stephanie. Stephanie is on line 3. Date of birth here is December 22nd, 1955. 12/22/55. Stephanie, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I have a question regarding finance. Things have been a little rough around here, and I was wondering whether or not in the near future it's going to change.
Okay, you also were born the last day. I can only repeat what I was saying to the previous caller, that if you could, perhaps get this computer printout sometime and find out exactly where the sun is, whether it's in the sign of Sagittarius or Capricorn. You were born with the moon in Aries, Mercury in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn. There is a strong flavor of Capricorn. Were you asking me about money?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have your own business?
I used to, but right now I was just accepted to be published as a poet, so it's sort of, I guess, my own business at this point.
Yeah, that's great. I think that it's a good time for, the Capricorn energy this year. Mercury in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn. It's very solid. You have Mars in Scorpio, Jupiter in Virgo. One of the things I wanted to talk about today, when I got into the numbers, was about this idea of matter and Earth, which is what all this Capricorn Virgo energy is in your chart.
My husband's a Virgo. Does that matter?
I'm sorry?
My husband is a Virgo.
Well, it's very compatible with the Capricorn energy. It's Earth. It relates to the Earth. Whenever you get Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, these are the 3 Earth signs. And, the nature of matter is very important to the Earth signs. And the reason I wanted to talk about it in terms of tomorrow was that the cross they call the cross of matter. The 4 points of the cross, right? It's grounding ourselves. And basically the idea is that Christ died on the cross, but it's to remind us also about how we are incarnated in matter. The body is matter. Anyway, to get back to your thing of money, I think that you're going to, experience perhaps a little angst. Mercury in Capricorn, it's not the best place for Mercury, so you might, worry about it a bit. But in general, I don't foresee money being a big issue or problem. I do think if you could, I would suggest strongly if you could find out which day to get the computer thing done for your chart, so you can find out exactly what sun sign you are.
How do I go about doing that?
Any magazine that you find in the newspaper store dealing with astrology, they all have computer printouts. It's about $5.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure. Thanks so much.
Thanks for
Okay,
calling.
thank you for calling. 19 and a half past the hour now at WVIP. On line 2 is Tina from Bedford Hills. Tina's date of birth is April 27th, 1949. Good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Tina.
Hi.
Did you have a particular question?
Yes, I'm interested in what's going on with work for me.
April 27th, 1949. Okay. You were born with the sun in Taurus and the moon in Taurus. Very focused. Very, very focused. You were born at the new moon. The moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. You always get what you need. You have Mercury in Taurus, Venus in Taurus. Goodness, you have a lot of Taurus. Mars in Aries. Jupiter in Aquarius. Okay. I think in terms of your energy, you might be feeling a little less energetic than you normally do. But certainly in terms of any financial pursuit, what kind of work do you do?
I work in advertising and communication.
Mm-hmm. I would say, have you been experiencing recently, since January, perhaps sort of a good run with money or not?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, it's going to continue throughout the year. Is there some duality of feeling that you have about the money that you're receiving?
Well, I'm just going through like a contract negotiation right now.
It's going to go in your favor. But don't sign it in May, if you can. Wait. Either sign it before the 5th of May or after.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
Thanks for calling.
We're going to get back to Mary Michele taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310 right after this word.
Spring is in the air, Easter is around the corner, and it's our first anniversary. Great reasons to celebrate at the Westchester. Through April 6th, the Westchester celebrates 10 days of prizes, entertainment, and excitement. Behold the brilliant display of color in our spring floral show. Bring your children for photos with the Easter Bunny. On weekends, enjoy face painters and magical entertainment. And enter our celebration sweepstakes to win a $1,000 shopping spree at the Westchester. Second prize, the ultimate day of beauty at the new José Ibert Salon. And 3 third prize winners each win Nokia 232 cellular phones from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile. Plus, buy raffle tickets to win a Buick Riviera, courtesy of the Buick Classic at the Westchester Country Club and Shoals Buick White Plains. All proceeds donated to charity. All this plus exquisite shopping now through April 6th, only at the Westchester.
General contest rules apply. Official rules and entry forms available in the mall. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Must be at least 18 to enter. Sweepstakes ends April 6, 1996.
All right, let's get back to the phones with Mary Michele. Good morning to Judy. I hope this is Judy and not Jody, but if it's Jody, I hope it's not Judy.
No, it's Judy.
It's Judy. Good.
Mike, how are you doing?
Okay, and you're calling for your husband's date of birth is May 31st, 1939.
Right.
Mary Michele, you're here.
Okay. Did you have a particular question, Judy?
Good morning, Mary. Yes, I did. I wanted to know about my husband's health and his work. He's in the construction field, and it hasn't really been that good in the last year or so, and I was just wondering how things were going to be.
Okay. The sun in Gemini and the moon in Scorpio. It's probably been a little rough for him for some time. Did his health perhaps improve at Thanksgiving?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. I think it's going to take a while for it to get, for him to feel confident about his health again. That's kind of a little bit of the problem here. But certainly the next 3 weeks, with this, what I talked about earlier in the show with Venus going into the sign of Gemini,
yes.
This is very good for money, for financial. What kind of work did you say he does?
Construction.
Construction. Is there anything, yesterday or today, has there been anything that's come up?
Not recently, no.
No. Well, he should be able to get out there. He has Mercury in Taurus, Venus in Taurus. Does he do very fine work when he does construction?
Very meticulous.
Very meticulous, yeah. He's going to perhaps find jobs where he can do more of that kind of meticulousness, even smaller. What exactly physically happened to him?
Well, he was just out of work because there was no work, but he's suffered many years with ulcerative colitis.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a worry-oriented thing. Gemini is the sign of the mind, and there's lots of worry attached to that. He should be feeling better, definitely physically, over the next 3 weeks. And also, I think that this year is a good time for him in terms of being able to make money. He's got 3 planets in Taurus, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus, all in the sign of Taurus.
You didn't say by any chance that we won the $25 million last night, did you?
Well, I can't see that. I think that he's somebody that just, you need to kind of jolly him a little bit, perhaps. He likes diversion, mental diversion.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Likes to be pampered and, babied and whatever.
But I think that, he's going to be feeling better, and you maybe just push him a little to go out there over the next 3 weeks, and he'll find different kinds of work.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you for calling, Judy. It's 25 past 9 o'clock. Renata is calling. Renata's date of birth is February 5th, 1961. 2561. Renata, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Renata.
I'm calling for my husband, who has no idea that I'm calling for.
Well, okay, I won't tell him.
Okay.
2561. So that's his birthday, right? Is that his birthday? I can't hear you, Renata.
It's his birthday.
2561. Okay.
He does something else now, but he really would like to open his own business, auto mechanic.
Uh-huh.
And the money we have saved is not that big, but he really dreams about it. And, you know, as a woman, I don't feel comfortable because I don't know anything about this kind of job. And I just need some kind of assurance that it will go well. So if you could help me with it, I would appreciate it.
Okay, it's mechanical things you said?
Yes.
Yeah, the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Libra, this is a harmonious angle. His relationship to you is very harmonious. He understands the feminine within himself. Consequently, he works well with women. I don't think you need to worry so much about him relating to you and understanding your needs and so on. He does understand that. The thing is with the sun in Aquarius, these people are always forward thinking. They're people that have, ideas that are ahead of their time, that are a little unusual, and it's usually very difficult for the people around them to sort of really integrate that and understand it. But, I think that you have to be a little bit more behind him because he understands and feels is comfortable with you. He understands what your needs are. And I think that it's just, this unusualness that he has that probably hasn't been able to express itself too well for the last 2 years. He has Mercury in Pisces. This is going to change. So if he is looking to raise money for his business, he's going to be able to go about it better, after next week.
So should I let him?
I think you should. I think you should encourage him because I really think that he understands you and works with you well. So I don't think that he would ever do anything that is going to distress you in any way. I know all relationships have their peaks and valleys, and I'm sure that there are areas where, it might be difficult from time to time with him. But basically, his understanding of you is pretty good. So he's not going to let you down.
Yeah, I hope so, but it won't happen.
No, he won't. And just, if he has far-out ideas, let him pursue them.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you for calling, Renata. 28 minutes past the hour now at WVIP. Back with Mary Michele. We have an open line at 241-1310, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. For the best fuel oil burner service and burner installation in the upper Westchester County area, give Marshall Oil Company a call at 764-5766. They offer fast, dependable deliveries, automatic fill service, 24-hour emergency equipment service, and convenient budget plans. They also stock a large inventory of replacement parts. So if you have a service need, it will be answered promptly and courteously. They also pledge to keep their prices at the lowest possible level. Marshall Oil Company has been providing quality service for the county for over 56 years and will continue to do so in the future. So it's easy to understand why so many residents and businesses in Westchester County have become such loyal customers. So for fast, dependable, and reliable service and the lowest possible prices, give Marshall Oil Company a call, 764-5766. Marshall Oil Company, striving to keep you and your family comfortable all year round. All right, let's get back to the phones. Anne-Marie has been waiting very patiently on line 3. Date of birth is 9/7/72. Anne-Marie, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Did you have a particular question?
Yes, I'm relocating to California next Friday. I'm moving out there with a person that I've only been in a relationship with for about 3 months. Haven't seen him for 4 months. Basically, I know where I stand as far as the relationship, or if I want to stay in it, but we all will be living together, myself with him and with one of his friends whom I've become very close with, and a couple of girls. I want to know basically if I'm going to find a good job, and how this is going to work for me.
Okay. I can understand it's stressful. Lots of new beginnings here. But are you hopeful for the relationship with this fellow as well?
Well, I'm not really. He's an Aquarian. Virgo. He's older. He's 13 years older than me. He's very understanding and very compassionate and very patient, which is all good qualities. But I'm just insecure about the age thing and the fact that he's been married before and has a son. And I don't know, I'm going to be living with also one of his friends who's a Capricorn. We have a lot in common. I just feel that maybe I'm at a different standpoint than he is. And also, I'm just concerned that I'm going to find a good job and get settled.
Okay, well, you have a lot of planets in Virgo. You have the sun and the moon in Virgo, which means you were born at the new moon, which gives you tremendous focus. You have Mercury in Virgo. You have Mars in Virgo. There's a strong component of Virgo energy here, and, that really enhances this worry problem that Virgos tend to worry quite a bit about things. And, basically, it's a perfect time for you to have chosen to make a big shift here. The last 2 years have not been an easy time in terms of your will and just your sense of purpose and direction. It's like there's been confusion everywhere. And you're making the right move. This is, it's only you're going to get a lot out of this. Now, as to whether you'll get a lot out of it in terms of the relationship, I think it's what you make of it. Certainly in terms of career and money, whatever it is that you need to make to make this happen once you're there, you have a lot of luck around that this year. You shouldn't worry about the finances. The emotional stuff, that always takes a little more time. But I think it's a perfect time. You really have chosen the opportune time to make a shift. So trust it a bit. And, even if this fellow is quite a bit older, I'm sure you have a lot to learn from him. Aquarius is a very forward-thinking sign. You'll get a lot from him. And, his friend, the Capricorn, is somebody that'll make you feel grounded. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it definitely is. I just want to make sure that I'm going to pursue my goals, because lately it's been taking so long to get them, get to them.
It's the worst part is over, and you're making the right move to go and change,
right.
do something different.
Great.
Okay?
Very much.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling. Interesting call there. We have an open line at 241-1310, 241-1310. If you want to talk to Mary Michele, we have a couple of seconds here. Do you want to start the discussion of numerology here? I know somebody had called and asked, or we may have asked you, I don't want to say do you dabble in numbers.
Well, the whole idea...
Don't want the police department here either.
Well, the whole idea of numbers is that there is a value behind numbers other than, the way that we use them in a linear, logical sense. In other words, most of the time we use numbers to describe a kind of very factual manifestation, whether it's the time or money or mileage or whatever it is. We tend to use numbers in a very concrete kind of way. And basically, the ancients believed, the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, and then on into the Christians. The Bible, has a lot of numbers, numerology. Well, not necessarily numerology; they don't call it that. But the importance of numbers is something that is demonstrated over and over again. And I think, one of the things that I think is interesting in terms of tomorrow, and what I've been reading about recently with the pyramids. The pyramids are based on the number 4. The bottom of the pyramid, there are 4 sides to it. Of course, as it goes up, there are 3 sides, and then it comes to the point, the 1. And, this is symbolism that is important in many different cultures in many different ways. Certainly, for us, with our forefathers, the original people that wrote the Constitution, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and so on, they had this component of Freemasonry in their belief system. And the dollar bill shows us this, with the pyramid and the eye on the top of it, which is, again, going with this symbolism of numbers from the 4, the basis, which is what we have to structure ourselves in, matter. Christ died on the cross. The cross represents the 4 points of matter. He had to experience life in the body to experience life, of the spirit. And he was teaching us something about how we have to learn how to be within our bodies and how important the nature of the body is. And, I think there's a lot of this going on today. People are talking about, the health and how much there's an interconnection between mind and body. And you can't forget one or the other. They have to be interconnected. And this is, again, about this idea of matter.
Well, you said numbers. John, we're going to get to you in just a second. But with numbers, do people have is the word lucky numbers, or is, when somebody is doing numerology, what are they looking for?
Well, the science of numerology is something that, it varies. There are different systems, as there are with astrology or with people that read the stock market or whatever. Everybody's got their own system. But in numerology, the most widespread system is you take the value of the numbers of your birthday. So if you were born in January, you take January, the first month, the 12th. You add those two numbers together, so that's 13, and 1949. So 1949 is 1 and 9 is 10, 4 and 9 is